Okay, so let's get right into it. You're a builder, you've got a fantastic product, a real vision. But maybe you don't have that fancy degree or those insider connections. Well, today we're going to break down the playbook for how you can raise seed money when you're starting from scratch. I mean, does this hit home or what? You're scrolling through tech news, you see these stories about founders raising millions with just a deck, and you can't help but feel like you're on the outside looking in, like there's this secret club and you don't have the password. That feeling? It's real and it's frustrating. Yeah, it really can feel like you're watching people pass around investor intros like they're trading cards, all while you're on the sidelines. You know you're building something that matters, but it just seems like the game is rigged for people who already know all the players. But here's the good news. And that right there is the big idea of this whole explainer. A smart strategy can absolutely 100% beat a big network. You just have to be incredibly sharp, you have to be strategic, and honestly, you have to make yourself impossible to ignore. So let's break down that plan, starting with pillar number 1. All right, our first pillar, signal over status. Look, when you can't lean on your background or your connections to open doors, you've got to create your own buzz. The trick is to generate these clear, early signals that speak so much louder than any resume or LinkedIn profile ever could. So what are we talking about when we say signals? This isn't about massive revenue numbers right out of the gate. No, it's about proof. It's about showing, not just telling, that you're solving a real problem for real people. You know, even a clunky, buggy prototype that has a few dedicated users, that's an incredibly powerful signal. It proves you're onto something. And you know what the best part is? You can start doing this stuff today, right now. Announce that new customer you just signed. Share a screenshot of that awesome user quote. Let the thing you are actually building, your product, do the talking for you. This creates curiosity, and curiosity is what gets emails opened even when nobody has a clue who you are. This really is the heart of it. When an investor sees you making real, tangible progress without a bunch of money or a fancy network to back you up, that's when they really pay attention. It shows you're not just playing startup, you're actually executing with the resources you have. So for you, this means every ounce of your energy should go into that demonstrable progress. That progress becomes your pedigree. So you're building signal, you're making progress, awesome. Now, how do you talk about it? And that brings us to our second pillar, clarity over polish. It is so tempting for founders to think they need to sound like a startup, using all the buzzwords, but that can totally backfire. Being real and direct builds trust way faster than some polished, jargon-filled pitch. I mean, just look at this comparison. It's perfect. The one on the left, it sounds corporate and, frankly, a little empty. But the one on the right, it's real, it's specific. An investor immediately understands what you do and why it matters. You just gotta talk like a builder, explaining your project to a smart friend. That's it. And here's the crucial part. At this early stage, the clarity of your thinking is the signal. When you know your customer, your market, and your next 3 steps cold, it just screams that you're serious. It shows you're focused on building a business, not just on performing for investors. So the takeaway here? Don't just practice your pitch, master your business. That's what people actually invest in. Okay, you're building signal, you're talking about it with clarity. Now, who do you actually talk to? This brings us to our final, super important pillar, fit over fame. It's so easy to just chase the big-name VC firms you see in the headlines, but when you're starting out, your real advantage is finding the right investor fit. So instead of just spraying and praying to a list of famous investors, you need to use a magnifying glass. You've got to ask yourself, who actually funds founders with my kind of background? Who gets genuinely excited about my niche, whether it's robotics or AI or something else? Who has a history of backing solo technical founders? You're looking for the people who are already searching for someone just like you. And this is where doing your homework is your secret weapon. Read their blogs, check out their portfolios, see what they're talking about on social media. When you can tailor your message to them, even a cold email can feel like a warm intro. Why? Because you're showing them a deal that fits perfectly into their wheelhouse. Seriously, 5 minutes of research is worth more than 5 hours of blind outreach. All right, let's pull all of this together. The goal here isn't just to get a network. The goal is to build leverage. See, a network can be a shortcut, but it's not a requirement. Leverage is what really truly matters. So what is leverage? It's the sum of everything we just went over. It's the signal you generate from your traction. It's the confidence that comes from your clarity. And it's the momentum you create day in and day out. It's the undeniable, rock-solid proof that you are building something that simply cannot be ignored.
At the end of the day, this is what it all boils down to. Just focus on the substance. Focus on building something so real, so compelling that it speaks for itself. That is how you win this game, with or without a big network.
So this is the question I want to leave you with. You're already doing the hard part. You're the one in the arena, building. The only thing left is to strategically and clearly make sure that hard work is actually being heard. You have so much more control over this journey than you might think.